Okay, let's dig into this. You sent over some really interesting material, all kind of pointing towards the same thing, this idea that discipline really has the edge over just relying on motivation.
That's exactly right. And that's what we're getting into today. The mission here is to cut through the fluff and get to what these sources are really saying about why discipline is framed as, well, the secret weapon for actual lasting success.
Yeah, and look, we've all been there, haven't we? That initial burst, that spark of motivation, you see something inspiring, hear a great talk, and bam, you're ready to change everything, make huge plans.
Oh, absolutely. You feel like you can take on the world. But then maybe the next morning comes, or you look at that big task again, and that fire feels, well, maybe just like a slicker. Motivation can definitely get you started. It ignites things, sure.
But it fades fast.
It can, yeah. It's often fleeting, like a spark.
Right. And the main argument running through all this material we looked at is pretty clear. Motivation's great for a kickstart, but it's discipline that's the steady, reliable fuel. It keeps that engine running when the excitement's gone. That's what these sources are saying is the real game changer.
It's about moving past feeling like it towards deciding you will do it regardless.
Okay, so let's break that down more. How do these specific sources draw the line? Motivation versus discipline. What do they actually say they are?
Well, the sources generally describe motivation as primarily emotional. It's that feeling inside, that desire that pushes you to act.
Yeah.
But it goes up and down, depends on your mood, how tired you are, what's happening around you.
Right, so it's all about how you feel right now. Like, I feel motivated to go to the gym today. Maybe tomorrow, not so much.
Exactly. Whereas discipline, the sources present that quite differently. Not as a feeling, but as a conscious choice, a practice. It's about committing to your goals, your values, and acting on them. Whether you feel like it or not, it's doing the thing anyway.
That distinction feels really important. Motivation might knock on the door sometimes, but discipline lives there. It pays the rent,
That's a good way to put it.
And let's be real, the stuff that actually leads to success long term, consistent work, pushing through discomfort, putting off the easy thing, that often doesn't feel great in the moment, does it?
Rarely. Getting up early when you're cozy in bed, sticking with a tough project when your phone is buzzing, that takes overriding what you want to do right then. The sources often talk about discipline almost like it's a muscle, something you have to actively train.
Yeah, the muscle analogy. I like that because it suggests it's not just something you're born with or without. You can actually build it.
Precisely. And the sources really drive this home by looking at high achievers. Think about top athletes, artists, scientists, entrepreneurs. They aren't just floating on a constant cloud of motivation.
No way.
What sets them apart, it's that commitment to the grind.
Yeah.
Showing up consistently, day after day, even when it's boring, even when it's hard.
Like those elite athletes mentioned in the material. They don't leap out of bed thrilled for every single 5 a.m. practice, right? Their schedule is just what they do. It's a decision they've made.
Exactly. Or think about a writer who has a daily word count. Inspiration is great when it shows up, but most pages get filled through the sheer discipline of sitting down and writing. Rain or shine, that habit, that's the muscle getting stronger.
So the big point here, coming through loud and clear from the sources, is that motivation might start the engine, but it's just not enough fuel for the whole journey. It's too flaky.
Totally. Unpredictable. If you only rely on motivation, your progress is basically dictated by your mood swings. Feeling good, great, you move forward. Feeling low, everything grinds to a halt. And the sources point out how frustrating that inconsistency itself becomes.
Oh, yeah. It's a vicious cycle, isn't it? You get motivated, start, motivation dips, you stop, then you feel guilty or annoyed about stopping, which just makes it harder to get going again next time.
You got it. And there's a really useful analogy one source used for this. Motivation is like the weather. It changes day to day, sometimes hour to hour. You can't really control it.
Right.
Discipline, though, that's like the climate. It's the underlying pattern you establish over the long term. It's more stable, predictable, and crucially, it's something you can actually build and influence.
The weather versus the climate. I like that.
Yeah.
You can't really plan your life around hoping for sunny weather every single day. You need a climate you can count on.
So if you want reliable long-term results, the argument is you need to focus on building that internal climate, your discipline, not just waiting for the motivational sunshine.
Okay. So we get why motivation isn't the whole story and what discipline kind of is this commitment, this muscle. But then the big question, the one these sources tackle, and let's face it, the one we all struggle with is how? How do you actually build it? What are the practical steps suggested?
Yeah, the sources offer quite a few actionable strategies. A really big one is Start small, like really small.
Mhm.
Don't try to completely change everything overnight. Pick one tiny thing.
Tiny, like deciding you'll read for just 10 minutes, or maybe do 5 push-ups, or just put your running shoes by the door, something that feels almost too easy not to do.
Exactly, that level of small. The focus is way more on consistency than on intensity, especially when you're starting out. Doing something tiny every single day is way more powerful for building the habit than doing something huge once a week only when you feel fired up. It's about wiring that loop in your brain.
Okay, consistency over intensity. Start small. How do they suggest keeping that going, making it stick?
Well, tracking comes up a lot. Just the simple act of noting it down. Did I do my tiny habit today? Yes or no? Seeing a chain of yes days build up can be surprisingly motivating in itself. But it's a different kind of motivation based on proof you're doing it, not just a feeling.
Right, seeing the ticks on the calendar, it makes it real. What else? How about making it easier to actually do the thing?
Shaping your environment. That's crucial, according to this material. Basically, make the thing you want to do the easiest option.
Like, leave your gym bag packed by the door.
Exactly. Or you want to eat healthier, have healthy snacks ready and visible, and maybe hide the junk food, or just don't buy it. Make the good choice the path of least resistance. Remove the friction for the desired habit. Add friction for the undesired one.
Setting yourself up for success makes total sense.
And, here's something really important the sources highlight.
Yeah.
You will slip up. It's going to happen. There will be days you miss that tiny habit. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about bouncing back. The sources really stress practicing self-compassion. Don't beat yourself up. Just acknowledge it, forgive yourself, and get right back on track the very next day. No drama.
That's huge, because one missed day doesn't mean you failed at discipline, right? It's
Yeah.
just a missed day.
Yeah.
The real failure is letting that one day become 2, then 3, then giving up entirely.
Precisely. Don't let a lapse become a collapse. That's the key.
Now, the material had some really good personal stories illustrating this. There was one about studying, wasn't there?
Yeah, one contribution
Yeah.
talked about needing to study for a really tough English exam. And at first, it just felt impossible. Motivation was all over the place. The change came when they set a strict rule: study for at least an hour every single day. No excuses. Didn't matter if they were tired, didn't feel like it. Some days were apparently just a total grind.
Pushing through.
Just pushing through.
Yeah.
But that consistency, day after day, compounded.
Yeah.
It turned this huge, scary task into just a habit. And,
Yeah.
well, they passed the test.
That really clicks. It wasn't about feeling like studying. It was just the daily decision. I had a similar thing, also mentioned in the sources, with fitness. I used to go all in on these intense workout plans when I felt motivated, Then I'd crash and burn when it got hard, or I just wasn't feeling it. The real shift happened when I applied this discipline idea. Just move for 30 minutes a day, minimum. Some days, it was a hard workout. Other days, it was just a walk, maybe some stretching. The point wasn't the intensity. It was the non-negotiable daily commitment. That's the habit that finally stuck for me.
And these stories, they really highlight that core idea. Discipline takes this big, maybe distant goal and translates it into a concrete daily action. And over time, these consistent actions, they don't just change what you do. They start to change who you are.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. That's where it gets really powerful, isn't it? Discipline builds the habits, and the habits kind of forge your identity. You start being the person who exercises, or the person who writes every day, or the person who manages their money well.
And this ties right into that phrase quoted in the sources, the Jocko Willink idea. Discipline equals freedom.
Which sounds like a total contradiction at first, doesn't it? Discipline feels like restriction, like rules. How is that freedom?
Well, the way the sources explain it is that through discipline, you gain mastery over yourself. You're not constantly jerked around by your impulses, your moods, or what other people want you to do.
Ah.
You gain control over your own time, your energy, your focus. You become free to actually direct those things towards what genuinely matters to you, towards your bigger goals, instead of just reacting to whatever feels easiest or most appealing right now. That is the real freedom that discipline gives you.
It's the freedom from being ruled by fleeting feelings, the freedom to actually build the life you want, one deliberate step at a time.
And that path, according to all this material, is the one that leads to real sustainable achievement.
Okay, so bringing this all together for you, the listener, based on these insights you shared, let's just quickly run through those key actionable takeaways again, the ones that came out of the material.
Right. First, kind of recognize that shift from the spark to the fuel. Know that motivation is awesome but temporary. So focus your energy on building something more solid, that discipline.
Second, Start ridiculously small. Pick one tiny habit. Consistency beats intensity, especially at the beginning.
Third, track it. Just seeing that progress can really reinforce the action. Make it visual if you can.
Fourth, tweak your environment. Make the good habit easy. Make the bad habit harder. Set yourself up to win.
Fifth, and this is crucial, practice self-compassion. You will miss days. It's okay. Forgive yourself instantly and just get back to it the next day. No big deal.
And finally, connect to your why. Why are you doing this in the first place? Reminding yourself of that deeper reason, that underlying purpose, can be incredibly powerful on the days when motivation is totally absent.
Yeah. Ultimately, the really clear message cutting across all these sources is that building a life you're proud of means shifting your reliance away from chasing that unpredictable high of motivation and focusing instead on deliberately cultivating the steady, reliable power of discipline.
And let's leave you with that really simple but powerful statement that came directly from the source material. Motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing.
So maybe think about it this week. What's just one small, disciplined step you can commit to taking today, tomorrow, regardless of how you feel about it?
Thanks for diving deep with us today.